Athletics today. Adam, you are there. You are in Indianapolis. I know the Combine is getting ready to start, but let's begin with what you talked about yesterday, the idea that the NFL is going to look at changing the rule of what a catch is and what a catch isn't. And while both Golick and I applaud that idea, we're curious about what exactly they're going to do to clarify it.
Well, I think it's going to be clarified in terms of going to the ground. In other words, when Des Bryant went to the ground, when Calvin Johnson went to the ground, when Jesse James went to the ground, it sounds like the language is going to be such that if they hold on to the ball and then go to the ground, that would be a catch under the new simplified proposals that the competition committee is now discussing, that it's going to continue to discuss up until a week before the owners' meetings, when the competition committee next meets again in Palm Beach at that point in time, before going over to Orlando for the owners' meetings in late March. So this is not something that's going to get passed today, even though the competition committee is meeting this morning with the general manager committee meeting. There's a bunch of committee meetings here in Indianapolis that already are taking place. And essentially, I don't have the specific answer for you because I don't know that they have the specific answer. But the basic answer is that it's going to be simplified. It's going to involve going to the ground, and it's going to be something as simple as, if it looks like a catch, it is a catch.
Yeah, boy, wouldn't that be nice? The old bar rule for a little bit. The only thing I was asking before, Adam, is then what's the next thing that you look at? Is it going to be a football move? Do they have to have it? Jesse James didn't make a football move. Zach Ertz did make a football move. So is there going to be something there that's going to still kind of keep it a little bit convoluted?
Mike, I hope not. I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
Again, they're going over this, and they're having these discussions now. It's been such a
damn it, Adam, we bring you on for answers.
Yes, but sometimes there are no answers, Trey. Sometimes there are no answers.
Yeah, that is true. See, that is true.
Because Adam, I've always said if the ground can't cause a fumble, then why should it cause an incompletion? And then Golick rightly pointed out that if you're not touched and you're a runner, the ground actually can cause a fumble. Yeah. So that makes it a little more interesting.
I think really, basically, boiling it all down, we're all just trying to survive the ground.
Yeah. We're trying to survive going into the ground. I think is the best way to put it.
That's the line of the day, Adam. That is the line of the day. All right, so
Adam with the win.
Let's go with an easy question. How is this Jerry Jones appeal for $2 million going to work?
He's going to go before Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell could decide to hand it off to somebody else. But listen, I think that these two men have been through so much that basically we have a situation here where Jerry's going to have to make his case to Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell listen. I mean, really, what are we talking about? We're talking about $2 million for a man whose franchise is now worth over $4 billion, and I think that those two men can settle it. We could talk about how convoluted it is and the process that takes place, but the fact of the matter is, we'll leave it to Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell to figure out how to settle $2 million in legal fees.
Yeah, but I don't think either one of these has the word settle in their nature. That's the problem. That's sort of why we got to where we are, right?
Well, here's the deal. Basically, I mean, I don't know exactly how this works. The league doles out all the money, right?
Right.
So when the league is handing out all its broadcast money, what's to stop it from holding back $2 million in revenues to the Dallas Cowboys?
Ooh, I think Jerry would be very upset with that.
Sue, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, that wouldn't be the first time.
Let me ask you this, Adam. This supposed rule about starting litigation, you've read it. What do you think? Do you think that the way it's written and what Jerry Jones was saying he was going to do and however far he went in doing it, do you think he's going to be on the hook for this $2 million?
I would think he probably will be. Now, I think the one thing that we've learned from the league is that the league does what it wants to do. It enforces what it wants to enforce. It makes the rules that it wants to have in place. And so if it says that Jerry Jones owes the NFL $2+ million, well, then that's the rule. Jerry Jones now owes the NFL $2+ million. All
right, Adam Schefter with us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Adam, there's another rule that's being discussed, and we talked about it a little earlier, PI, pass interference. Maybe going from a spot foul to 15 yards. What are the odds that actually happens?
Not very high. It's come up every year. It's a matter of discussion, and they continue to talk about it, and it continues to get rejected. Now, look, could this be the year where it finally creeps through? Sure, it could happen. It just doesn't sound like it will. Now, maybe somebody puts on some kind of push and it gets done, and we have a situation where there is a new rule, but I don't think that this is going to be the year, but we'll see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know the last time they had an actual big-time rule that went the defense's way, but
exactly.
that's just a bitter
exactly,
former
right?
defensive player for me here. That's all.
The league is not really in favor of passing rules designed to favor the defense.
No,
that
they are not.
Happen very often.
All right, so Adam, let's go on the field. The Le'Veon Bells, the Odell Beckhams, the Aaron Donalds of the world. I mean, between franchise tags and who's going to get a deal done, how is it going to work for some of these big-time players?
Well, look, we're about to enter into a situation where there's going to be all kinds of business that is done here in the coming weeks. Okay, we got the new league year starting March 14th. We've got deals that are going to happen. You have got teams trying to sign players now. In terms of Aaron Donald and Odell Beckham, it's not like there's a rush to get these deals done today, this week, next week. Those are deals that are going to be addressed this offseason. I think Aaron Donald will have a new deal this offseason. I'm not convinced that Odell Beckham Jr. will. But look, you're going to see some wide receiver deals that occur in coming weeks or months that have a bearing on that. And the Giants have taken a wait-and-see approach with Odell till now. There's really been no significant talks at all, if there's been any talks at all. So that's a huge project. We know how much he's going to want and how valuable he is. I don't think that's going to be a simple negotiation. That's going to be playing out over months.
Well, the issue there, Adam, is that, they had that soft deadline that the Steelers did with Le'Veon Bell, February 20th, we want to get something done by. That came and went pretty quickly. Are we going to have another protracted situation where Le'Veon Bell may be looking at holding out going into the season like Aaron Donald did with the Rams?
Well, the two sides have been talking about a new deal, and I think both sides would like to see something get done. But the fact of the matter is, if it's not done, the Steelers will put the franchise tag on him. They'll have until July 15th or so to sign him to an extension. And then if they don't get an extension done, then I would imagine it would be a repeat of last year. But there's so much time between now and then, and there's so many things that can happen between now and then that, again, it's hard to talk about Le'Veon Bell holding out in August when, for all we know, they get a deal done in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I mean, what's the tone of those negotiations? How close do they get? Are they not close? How did Le'Veon feel? How do they make him feel these 2 weeks? Like, before we get to August, we got to get through February and March.
Adam, is this going to – I don't know what the lowest ever was as far as players that were tagged. Could we be seeing that? I think there's, only two now, Jarvis Landry and Ziggy Ansah, the only ones tagged?
Well, actually, Mike, listen, the fact that they have until next week. I believe March 5th is the deadline. But the fact that there are already two tags is a high number. Like, the Dolphins tagged Jarvis Landry, in my mind, with the idea to trade him. There's only been one other player tagged on the first day that you could tag players, and that was Matt Castle with the New England Patriots, who wound up being traded that offseason
the Chiefs
to the New England Patriots in 2009. It doesn't happen. They don't tag players on the first day of a 2-week period to tag players. So that tells you when that happens that this is a different circumstance, because that's incredibly rare. And the Lions, I think, I'm going to read between the lines here, tagged their guy yesterday with the idea like, hey, all the agents, all the teams are here in Indianapolis. There's a lot of conversations that are occurring. And I think it was a message like, hey, Ziggy Ansah, you're not going anywhere. We're tagging you right now. And I still think we're going to see more players tagged here. So I wouldn't say that it's the lowest number of tags. We still have a week to go, and usually the tags that come are used on the last day of the period.
All right, Adam, before we let you go, it looks like the Minnesota Vikings are going to make an all-in push here to get into the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes. What we're hearing is that they're not going to put a tag or even a franchise tag or a transition tag on Case Keenum. They may let Teddy Bridgewater go. They have Kyle Sloter under contract, but it looks like he's going to be the only one starting March 14th. So how aggressive are they going to be, do you think, in going after Kirk Cousins?
Well, let me say this. Again, another situation where I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. And I know we want answers to questions yesterday. I got it, okay? But there's going to be a lot of meetings that occur this next week. And, again, Teddy Bridgewater, it's not that they're letting him go. I think the Vikings want Teddy Bridgewater back. And we'll see how that happens. but his health is not exactly where a lot of people want it to be. We'll see how the free agent market shakes out. I still think there's a decent chance that Teddy Bridgewater goes back to Minnesota. And Case Keenum, again, they have to figure out what's going to be going on with Kirk Cousins. Maybe they use the transition tag on Case Keenum at a cheaper number that invites another team to go sign him to an offer. Like, again, we're rushing to answers when I don't know what the rush is, and there's a lot that still is going to play out. We don't have clarity. We don't have definition. We don't have answers. We could speculate on these things. And, yes, I do think the Vikings will be involved in Kirk Cousins. And if we're going to look at the Kirk Cousins situation, I think this is the way it boils down. I think the New York Jets will be the most aggressive team out there for Kirk Cousins. I think the Vikings offer him the best overall situation, and I think the Broncos will be involved. And I think those are the three teams, to me, that are right in the thick of the Kirk Cousins derby. Now, what he wants and what he's looking for, the way that I know him, he's going to want to be in a situation where he could win and where he's going to be the guy and where people can count on him. And so you tell me, when you look at those situations, which you think is the best one. Well, but I think the Jets will be most aggressive. The Vikings probably offer the best overall situation. But how competitive are they going to be compared to a team like the New York Jets? What if the Jets, let's just make this up, $30 million a year, and the Vikings are at $24 million a year, and it's a 5-year contract. Is that enough to sway Kirk Cousins' mind, or he doesn't care? I don't know the answer. No one knows the answer.
Damn it, Adam, we bring you on for answers, so you're really disappointing us this morning. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Go get some coffee and figure it out.
I come with a lack of answers for you this morning. My apologies.
That's all right, brother.
Thanks,
always good to hear from you, and we'll see what happens going forward this week in Indy. Thanks, Adam.
I'm going to try to survive the ground right now.
There you go. Adam Schefter, sir.